This example is kind of a combination of the last couple of them. It's already factored, which is nice, but the denominator isn't linear factorization. I can't take and factor down x squared plus 4 any better, at least not without imaginary numbers, and I don't want that. But it's also squared. So it's a little bit of having to go through and combine a couple of the skills that we've practiced. So I'm going to have, when I do this, I'm going to have an ax plus b over an x squared plus 4, and I'm going to have a cx plus d over that x squared plus 4 quantity squared. I have to have both. And then, again, I go through, I multiply by the common denominator. Now, it's really nice, at least this last one here, it just becomes a cx plus d, so that's a little bit easier to work with. And then I have to, like I did on the last one, go through and do some distribution, because I can't, in this case, I really can't just let x be something and make one of these terms disappear. So I do that distribution. And I get to here. And just like the last one, I'm going to kind of group some things together. I have an ax cubed, that's good, and I have just a bx squared. That's all I have there. I've got this x term and this x term, and I'm going to go ahead and factor out that x at the same time. So I'm left with 4a plus c, and then I've got these two constants here with nothing, so I'm going to have plus 4b plus d. And very much like on the last one, I'm going to kind of compare both sides. I've got an x cubed here, I've got an x cubed here. I know that the coefficient of x cubed is 1, so that means over on this side, a has to be 1. I've got a bx squared here, I've got an x squared here. The coefficient of x squared is 1, that means b has to equal 1. Those have to match. I'm going to match up the x terms. Well, there's an x term here on the left side, no x term. That means that this 4a plus c has to equal 0, because there is no x term. Same thing happens with the constant term. This constant term here, there is no constant term on the left side. So 4b plus d also has to equal 0. And now, knowing a couple of things, it looks a little bit rough because these two, the purple and the red, they both have different letters in them, but I know that a is 1, so 4 times 1 plus c is equal to 0, meaning c equals -4. Here, 4 times b, well, b is 1, plus d is equal to 0, so d has to equal -4. I plug in what I know, solve for what I don't, and I get these values, and then I can rewrite my answer as ax plus b plus cx plus d over x squared plus 4 squared. I would probably go through, just because I like the way it looks better, I'd factor out the negative right here, factor out that negative, and put it right there and have 4x plus 4 on the top, and x squared plus 4 quantity squared on the bottom. I just prefer the way that looks. I wouldn't count it wrong on a test or a quiz, so you could leave it either way, and it would be perfectly acceptable.